Hello everybody and welcome to the What's On podcast. This is episode 17. My name is Zachary.
My name is Ryan.
And today we're going to be talking about the one and only Steven Spielberg and some of his greatest films. And, I mean, you've heard it before if you've listened to a few of these, going through them, what we enjoyed, what was great about them. And start with the news, which is definitely dominated by a single topic, as is everything, which is obviously the coronavirus or COVID-19. Obviously, we'll apply this to movies and games and all the stuff we talk about, but mainly it's just delays, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So this is definitely not a whole list because there's just too many to name, but just the ones that I've been following or wanting to see. So like Mulan, Fast and Furious 9, A Quiet Place 2, No Time to Die, the James Bond, the Uncharted one, which I spoke about a couple of weeks ago. Which is based off the game, which has been suspended indefinitely.
Oh, God. And
this one's been one that's been trying for so long that this probably might kill it after all this. Matrix 4, that's the same one, saying that they've postponed indefinitely. And then some people who've, I don't know, everyone who gets it's obviously a problem, but famous names that have got it, like Tom Hanks, I think he was the first
big name,
yeah. Idris Elba the last couple of days, and Christopher Hivju, who is Tormund.
Oh, okay.
Which has also shut down because of that. Shut down The Witcher season 2.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. Yeah.
But yeah, it's stopped so much. In terms of actual apart from that, I'll just finish off to do with the coronavirus, which is Lord of the Rings, the Amazon series that's been postponed. I think that was it. Like saying, not it as in that's all of them, but just those are the ones that we're following.
You can see, big things like E3 2020's been cancelled. Like you said, loads of things have been cancelled because we can't have no social gatherings now.
Can't have any gatherings. Can't meet anyone.
Can't do none of it.
Can't go to a shop and find even a single roll of toilet paper.
The one thing that's not about coronavirus is just a little rumour, just a little gaming rumour. There's been a report saying that after Cyberpunk 2077 is released, which could be whenever now, you don't really know, the next project for the company,
CD Projekt Red,
is a new Witcher game.
Interesting.
Possibly. That's the report that's coming out.
That'd be...
I mean, how long's it been since the last game? It's been, 8 years now?
Yeah, it's... Because that's The Witcher 3 is rated in the top 5 best games of all time. It's how would you follow
How would you top that? Yeah.
Because I think they've done, the right thing of, shifting to, a different universe, doing the Cyberpunk thing. And that's when that eventually comes out. I've got some, CD Projekt Red that I read about was... They've still... They postponed it already, not because of the coronavirus, but because of tweaks to it to September. And they've said that's still not changed, but the entire company, they're going remote. So they're taking steps, but they're saying that it's not going to affect the date up to now, obviously, with the way how fast it's going, and anything can change at this point. But I think it'd be very difficult to match. Hopefully there's improvements that they could make to the combat systems and all that, and I'm sure more than likely they've got tons of story, but how do you follow something like that up with great difficulty?
They'll try. They'll try their best.
Taiki Waititi, who is the Jojo Rabbit and Thor Ragnarok, your favourite, he is very busy now. So he's doing Love and Thunder, which is the Thor sequel. A game, something coming out soon called Free Guy, which is Ryan Reynolds in it. I don't know if you've seen the trailer, but it's set in a video game where an NPC character realizes that he's in a game and is tired of just being the one who gets killed at a bank robbery, and it just resets. It's a bit like Wreck-It Ralph. But in live action.
Oh, that's good.
But I think he's done something with that, and now it's come out that for Netflix he's doing Roald Dahl. So he's doing Charlie and the Chocolate Factory and a separate Oompa Loompa one. I don't know what that'll be, but he's not come out of nowhere because obviously it'll have been around for ages, and I think there was he was doing something for Michael Jackson.
Okay.
A long thing which never happened, but from like my perspective at least, he's like come out of nowhere and quotation marks, and now it's like he's
taking it over. Yeah.
There's a few people have done that, like actors, directors, like Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yep.
He definitely didn't come out of nowhere, but from Sherlock or like just prior to Sherlock, he like took over a lot of film from then because he was like Sherlock, then he was Imitation Games, and then he's been in some like Hobbit, and he was just
1917.
He was in like every film for that. So Idris Elba, I think he did that as well.
Yeah,
he was in Luther,
which probably like put him straight up there.
I think Star Trek, the Fast and the Furious spin-off,
yeah,
The Rock and Statham.
What was the other? The Dark Tower.
Yep. And then the tons of that I remember, but he's another one I remember as just being in everything at some point. Obviously, The Rock's now. Well, Rock's been doing it for a while, but he's become like the biggest paid actor, I think. And I think he's massively popular in China as well. So like anything that goes on in China just goes on like that. Monkey one that he was in, that Rampage.
Yes.
I didn't see it because it had bad. Like,
that wasn't too bad to be fair.
Was that right?
No, it was okay.
I heard bad news about it, so I just avoided it.
You just go in with a.
You know what it is.
Yeah, you know what it is. It's not exactly like a big masterpiece or anything. You just go in thinking, this might be okay. It's not too bad. I think it's all right.
I think that did like amazing over there. And so he's just throwing them out there, just like anything in. This one's an interesting one. The Last of Us. Mm-hmm. There's going to be a TV series.
Oh yeah.
Druckmann, who is the game director, I think it was Netflix. I should have looked that up. I think it's Netflix. Mm-hmm. They're going to be doing a TV show based off the games.
Okay.
Which is confirmed. That's confirmed. But what I didn't I don't know because he said in it like on Twitter. I don't know if it'll like carry on that it'll have Joel and Ellie in it. Mm-hmm. The only thing I'm taking is that he's not said when it's from.
Yep.
Because my thoughts immediately went to obviously The Last of Us 2 is coming out this year. Do they survive this game? Because I got money on Joel dying in this game.
You reckon? Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah. Well, they could do it maybe between time.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. See what happens, like how The Last of Us 2 goes. See where it starts off with, and then you can use that to kind of plan it. Like, there's time between 1 and 2, like years. Yeah. So we'll show them as soon as they left.
Yeah. I think that's what they'll have to do, sort of. But I would have also liked it if they did like story in the universe as well, from other people's perspectives, not just the game characters. No. Then again, it could have been a bit like Walking Dead, really.
Possibly.
But yeah, I'm still excited for it. Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which is the Disney Plus one of them at least. What they didn't realise was Baron Zemo's in it.
Okay.
From Civil War, the one who was like the mastermind of it. And there's apparently, because at the end of Endgame, the shield was passed to Sam, the Falcon, and that's at least seemed to signify that he was going to be the next Captain America. Mm-hmm. Apparently, in this Falcon and the Winter Soldier, a different person gets the Captain America shield.
Oh right, okay.
And takes the mantle of Captain America. Mm-hmm. Neither of Winter Soldier or Falcon. So
that's interesting.
Which I'm going to call now. Whoever that guy is, he's going to die.
Yeah. No, you ain't going to last.
For a TV series, like if that's going to be like storyline, he's definitely dying in it before any film or anything like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, E3, I mentioned that.
Yep.
Horizon Zero Dawn, that's been confirmed to go on PC now. So we talked about this.
Yeah, we did. We said it was going to happen.
Rumours and sort of type, but yeah, it has been confirmed. Mm-hmm. We had a whole podcast on what we enjoyed about it, and we said it was a good thing that going to PC because it'll let a lot of people.
More people love it. As it being like a PS4 exclusive. I mean, obviously it's only like a certain amount of people that can see it, so putting it on PC will open it up to millions of people.
I'm definitely a fan of having a PC. I just want to bring up these opinions from other people that I've read, just for discussion basis. Was some people are moaning about it. I don't know whether it's a bit like it's PS4 exclusive, so only we should have it or something like that. But they're saying stuff like, all the money that could go into adapting it to PC and doing all that, it's going to take away from the potential of a sequel game.
Okay.
And put the retention away from stuff. I think that's rubbish because
you'll get money back.
Yeah, and there's going to be a lot more retention and a lot more demand for a sequel game.
Yeah, exactly.
And I agree with the point that it could open up ideas for what they can include, like because with when it's online, when it's PC, they can I don't know, remotely update it and add things. But I think that's just going to help.
Yeah.
Overall, build a bigger community, because we enjoy it, but I don't think it's definitely a high rated game, and a lot of people have heard of it. I don't know how many people actually played it.
Well, that's it. I mean, not everyone's got PS4.
Yeah. So but yeah, wasn't happy about that. And then the other thing I had was the Resi 3 demo. Demo is coming out near the end of this week, which I know a lot of people enjoy the Resident series and they've been doing a good job with the remakes. Although there's a bit of issues with, because I've only seen gameplay of it, but the safe rooms in it.
Okay.
And there was a bit of a leak where people thought that the big villain, or not villain, but the big monster that always chases you, could break into safe rooms, and it got people panicked.
Well, it's not really a safe room then, is it?
Well, apparently that was false. That was just a tester went into a room, thought it was a safe room, and then got scared to death when it broke in after. Last thing I want to say, which I think is good to bring up people who've done a lot and we've enjoyed, who unfortunately died, which is Von Sydow. I might be mispronouncing his name, but he was... you'll definitely know him from Three-Eyed Raven.
Yeah. Oh yes, I know who you
the old man Three-Eyed Raven, not Bran. But he was also the priest in The Exorcist. He was Blofeld in Never Say Never Again. James Bond. And he was also in one of the films we're going to bring up today, the villain in Minority Report. So, just thank you for your work. We've enjoyed it. So, going on to Steven Spielberg. So, let's start off with Jaws. The funny thing about Jaws is it's its effects on people, really. I think one thing, people can watch it now and still enjoy it, but I think the biggest impact it had was on
the fear,
the culture, cultural impact. This had a direct effect on people going to the beach and stuff, and having fear of water.
That's it. People were really fully scared, but when they actually saw this and were like, "Oh God, sharks could kill me just like that."
Yeah,
it's played on making people so afraid of the water, and it still does today.
Yeah, because when I was reading up on it, there was some. This was one of the films that brought about research into something called cinematic neurosis, which is about inducing or exacerbating mental disturbances. So previous examples they had was The Exorcist, or other examples like The Exorcist, Psycho from the shower scene, and this obviously with water, but had a deep cultural impact on people.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And not the fear of swimming and the fear of sharks, which is still prevalent to this day.
Oh god, yeah, definitely.
And that's probably mostly brought about by parents passing it on to kids, even though this film was 1975.
Yeah,
45 years ago.
But I mean, it's still it still stands up to the time. I mean, it looks good still. You can just watch it and be like, "Oh God, sharks!"
Yeah, it's funny now because watching so many, it's I think we talked about this for 1917. When we watch films to watch films, you can sort of look for editing, not mistakes, but parts where you can find an error or something like that. It's not really a good thing really, but it's you can tell the old timey of it.
Yeah.
I mean, we were just watching a clip on Hook just for this, and it's like you can tell like the acting is different than it is in the modern day.
Yeah.
Like things have changed and such like. But you could still show a kid now, and he'd probably be scared to death of.
Like, definitely, like, easily.
not to traumatise.
It's got a few jump scares still.
And obviously the iconic music. So like, I think it won an Academy Award for sound editing and or whatever it had back then. I don't think for music.
Yeah.
The sound, the Jaws theme. Oh yeah, do you know what his name is?
Who?
The Shark's.
The Shark's name?
Yeah.
No.
You know?
No.
Bruce.
Of course. Of course it is.
Yeah.
Of course it's Bruce.
It is. Which is also a sort of Easter egg from Finding Nemo as well.
Yeah.
You go, Brucey. I didn't know it was based off a book. Oh, neither did you.
No, neither did I.
No, when I was just Wikipediaing it, of course.
Yeah.
Just said based off a book, which is always interesting.
But the thing about like Jaws as well, it also brings in good characters as well. It's not just like of the time like slashers when you can have forgettable characters. You get really good characters when it comes to Brody, Chief Brody, who's always been afraid of the water and everything, and starts to overcome it.
Yeah.
And Quint, very interesting person who's, well, he's a fisherman that served in the war as well, which was the good story when he talked about the USS Indianapolis, which was obviously a true story of the end of World War II when nearly 700 US sailors died because of the sharks. So that's an interesting, and Hooper as well. Hooper's quite funny.
It's also funny because you know, like at the start they catch the other shark and it's like, oh, we're all good, send people out because we're losing business sort of time. You think nowadays that'll probably happen.
That'll still probably happen.
As soon as they find them, just go.
It's just one shark.
There's no human remains in it. It'll be fine.
It'll be great. But it's like it brings in a bit of comedy as well, makes you laugh at times. I mean, like the part I remember is when they've obviously caught that shark that it's just a little one, and he's like,
tiger shark.
Yeah, that's it. It's like he said, "What the hell is it?" And Hooper's like, "It's a tiger shark." A what? But it's just little things like that, like keeps you interested. It's not just watching a shark eat people all the time. It's the thriller behind it.
That's the thing. Just to go back to like gaming and sort of type with the Resident stuff, which also applies to this, is if you have things like prolonged, like the fear, or at least some sort of medium like gaming or film, trying to induce fear in you, and it's constant, it'll lose it. So like games like Resident Evil, where there's a safe room, there's a time to relax, there's a time to get away from it, and then it restarts, and like this, there's comedic moments in between, because you need those to then build the tension back up again. Like when you hear that music, it has an effect. If it kept going,
if it was just going throughout the whole thing, it'd be like a white noise.
If you always see the shark, then you would just go, oh, I know he's going to kill someone, but it's not really that scary. It's the silence. Anything else for Jaws?
Nope. That's a good one.
Let's go on to Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
Why not? I don't think I'd be too far wrong saying this is probably his most famous series.
I
think it's the only series that's able.
It is probably his only series. I mean, like, everything else is just single films, isn't it? Oh, no. No, it's not. No, it's not.
Arguably Jurassic Park.
Well, that is definitely. Jurassic Park 1, 2 and 3. Come on.
Not 3. He doesn't.
It doesn't do 3. It's just doing 1 and 2, isn't it?
Yeah, just 1 and Lost World.
Yeah. Technically a series.
Yeah. I don't know. People can argue about it. But anyway, Indiana Jones. First of all, which was your favourite?
Ooh, it is an interesting one. I think out of the first 3...
Not the 4th.
Definitely not the 4th.
I thought that was your favourite.
It's definitely not my favourite.
I'm pretty sure you've told me you just don't want to embarrass yourself.
Oh yeah, sure, yeah. I think it might be the 3rd one. You know, thinking of it, I mean,
with the Holy Grail.
The Holy Grail and Sean Connery in it and everything. I mean, I thought that was a brilliant one. I mean, like the first ones, I love. Raiders of the Lost Ark is brilliant, and obviously it brings in Indiana Jones. But I think the 3rd one, I just like it more. Watching it, the stories. I mean, like obviously Indiana Jones is an archaeological professor, so he's looking for treasures anyway, and like Raiders of the Lost Ark looking for the Ark of the Covenant. Yeah. But I mean, you always like to throw in Nazis as well, don't you, to kill?
Well, makes the film better.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they threw Hitler into the third one, so.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, just nips it.
The famous book burning, and Hitler literally wanted Indiana Jones dead, and he stood right in front of him and signed his book.
That's very nice. Oh, I forgot about that actually.
Yeah, you completely forget. Yeah,
no, not completely, but just like, oh yeah, that happened, didn't it?
Well, I mean, like as well, like Harrison Ford. This was the time when he was getting big. Yeah, like, he'd just been in Star Wars.
Yeah, he got the Raiders. Well, he was nominated. So, like he went for it, or they gave it to him because of like the Han Solo aspect of it. But they gave it to someone else first, a guy called Tom Selleck. And I know he's been in stuff, but I've not, unfortunately, not looked into what he was in. But he had contract issues with another one, which I'm sure still kicks into this day about not being able to do it. But yeah, but the timeline this has gone from, like, the first one was in 81, like Raiders, 84, 89, 08, 20 years after The Last Crusade was Crystal Skull, and then potentially
a fifth one
in 2021, 13 years. So this has been literally 40 years.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the thing is, I'm like, because I'm pretty sure we've said this as well, like, he's getting old, isn't he?
Yeah, I think we talked about this last episode. He can't be the focus of it. I know it's his name going on the movie scroller, but he can't be the main aspect because he's 74, 72,
he's quite old now. I mean, like, you can't have him thrown around like a whip on a whip and everything, can you?
Yeah. I think they could. I know it didn't work out, so to speak, with Crystal Skull. I mean, it was worth watching, knowing the series, but it's like that age he was there, that still worked because was it Shia LaBeouf who was his kid? That still worked. Like, the Shia LaBeouf being the new one coming in and him being like the veteran doing it all. But now it's like, I don't think it would work for another one.
Well, they could have obviously given it to Shia LaBeouf technically there, couldn't they? Yeah. Like with the ending scene in Crystal Skull, where he takes the hat and he's about to put it on, but nope, Harrison Ford's like, no, you're not having it.
In fairness, Harrison Ford doesn't look as old as he like in the Rise of Skywalker when he does his cameo. Looks relatively alright, like for his age. So never know, but it's been 40 years.
It has, yeah. It has been 40 years. That's mad, isn't it?
Thinking. The funny thing I found with all the films is, you say he's an archaeologist. It's sort of BS because he's more like a magical artifacts finder.
Yeah, pretty much.
Because every film like has some sort of magic, or like, I know 4 went over the top with aliens.
Yeah.
Now we just need the meme of the guy with the spike with the fluffy hair going, aliens. Like, first one was Ark of the Covenant.
The Ark of the Covenant.
Face melter.
Yep.
Second was the Kalimar guys with the magic heart ripping out.
And the stones. It was the magic stones that kept the villages safe.
And the third one,
the Holy Grail.
Which I thought was a bit BS because, like, they go through all the things. Like, they go through the booby traps. They get to which guy was it? Paul, is it? Or who's the last Crusader?
Oh, that Crusader, yeah. I can't remember his name.
But he's like, okay, pick the one, and then if you get it right, you can obviously have a swig from it. Goes through all that, picks out, and then he goes, but you can't leave with it.
Yeah.
You could have told me that earlier.
The Grail cannot leave past the seal.
Because of the law of God or something.
It's like,
you could have
what are you doing?
Could you have at least written that on the entrance? Yeah. Like, I've gone through all this.
That is literally like such a handicap.
And I can't remember exactly, but I'm pretty sure he says it after he like picks it and drinks it.
He does, yeah.
Like, so that
you've chosen wisely.
Yes. Yeah. But by the way, and I know that final scene of it, like with, I can't remember her name, but like the female companion who's been in the film, where she's so obsessed with it that she plummets to her death because of
trying to grab it.
And then Indy obviously almost does the same thing. it's that sort of thing of trying to find meaning in these things, isn't it? But about being obsessed with it to the point of risking your own life.
Yep.
When not worth it really, because
no, exactly.
Definitely
a little cup. The cup.
I bet back to the Crusader guy. I bet he's a bit miffed. He's like, 700 years been here, sweeping up every day, been good. I'd enjoyed it. I mean, a bit boring. Play checks with myself a little bit, but 700 years, you turn up once, the whole flat breaks down.
Yep. Well, he can't survive without the whole.
No.
So he'll be dead.
Well, and getting smushed.
That too. That too, maybe.
But just like, 700 years. You come in for one day, one out, less in 5 minutes.
The first person I've seen in 700 years, and then suddenly 5 minutes later, gone. Thanks, guys. Thanks. Cheers. So, which one's your favourite?
Probably say the same. Last Crusade. My order would probably be Last Crusade, Raiders, Temple, Skull.
Yep.
Like I say, Raiders is the iconic, like brought in the character, had a lot of great iconic scenes. Temple is not a bad film. It's just is just before 3 and 1, and then 4 just
yeah. Let's ignore that one.
And there is an iconic scene in, I think it's number 1, with the guy with the scimitar, the fancy sword.
Yep.
Do you know the story behind that?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Do you want to go?
I'll say it. Yeah. So basically, he was meant to have a fight scene with him with swords, and at the time Harrison Ford was really ill. I think he had food poisoning.
Yeah.
And he was just not feeling it at all. So literally, when he was acting it, this swordsman was doing all the flips and doing everything, showing like, oh, look at me, I can do this, I'm going to kill you. And then Harrison Ford was like, I can't be dealing with this. I'm just going to pick the gun out. Bang. Yeah. There you go. Deal with that.
And that's just, it's become one of the most iconic scenes of the film. And it so easily could have been out of it.
Yeah,
could have
exactly.
Just been another.
If he didn't have food poisoning, he would have probably been fighting. But it's just funny that he's like, what are you doing? I have a gun.
It's like, doing all these things, oh, I can't be doing with this.
No. You are just not worth my time.
Another iconic scene for a different reason. The fridge.
Oh, God. Yeah. Yeah.
So this is number 4, where I don't even know how he gets there, but he ends up in a nuclear testing town.
Yeah, well, he was obviously he was captured by the Russians, taken to the testing facility to get the Ark of the Covenant, I think is what they wanted. And then he escaped, and obviously he went to the testing facility. Like, he thought the town was actually a proper town, but it was just a test for an atomic bomb, which then he heard the countdown.
And then he was like, let's get in the fridge.
Oh, let's get in the fridge.
Which...
You know, the fridge that at the time you cannot open from the inside.
Yeah. It was just funny, like not the backlash, because it wasn't that sort of time back then. Because there was a lot less social media back then.
Yeah.
But it did bring a lot of argument into it, going, could not survive in a fridge, or on the other side, people going, oh, so you just need to get in your lead-lined fridge, which we all have.
Bit of a fun fact about that scene as well, though. Have you played Fallout 4?
No.
You never played Fallout 4?
No.
Okay. Well, in Fallout 4, there was, as you're going through the wasteland, you come across this, I can't remember if it's a random encounter or not. I think it might not be. It's a certain area you go to. You can start to hear a kid asking to be let out. And, there's a fridge. So this kid's been in the fridge for 200 years because he's a ghoul.
Oh, right.
So basically, when the actual bombs struck, he jumped into the fridge, and because of the radiation, it turned him into a ghoul, and he's been stuck in that fridge for 200 years, and you just let him out.
Sweet air.
Oh, thank you. I've been calling and calling.
Not just like the radiation thing, but it's also the fact he gets flung at several tens of miles per hour like getting knocked about. So it's like, if the radiation is not going to fry him, then the knocking's going to like
break all of his bones.
Yeah. So.
And no, he just gets up and carries on.
And then I think everyone has a joke about with the fourth one as well. With the so what was the treasure at the end? It was knowledge.
All right, mate.
I think whenever everyone watched that film for the first time, like when that came out, everyone rolled their eyes. Yeah. It's like if you're in it, it's like if you're in school and it's just like, so how'd you get a job that earned money? You know what's worth more than money?
Knowledge. Well, it's the part as well at the end when they see the ship leave, and then Shia LaBeouf's character's like, "Oh, where have they gone? Into space? Not into space, into the space between spaces." What? What does that mean?
Like, I know I give Jip to fourth one, but still, like, it was worth a watch.
Doesn't make any sense, but
yeah. Anything else for Indiana?
Not really. I think it's just like a case of it's one of the best series out there that Spielberg has made, and you can watch it on repeat. I mean, again, it's one of those films that won't lose its mark in time.
Yeah, and I think one has been like preserved. They have a film preservation somewhere in America, so it's like, and that's one of the ones that they've said got to keep this.
Need to make sure.
I don't know if the world goes to hell. They've got some decent films.
You've got to be entertained at the end of the world.
That is probably like one of the things. Like, if the world goes to hell, they've got a set of decent films to watch behind bars.
So next film, should we go on to E.T.?
Go on then.
So E.T. generally it's just a film about a troublesome child who meets a runaway alien that's trying to get away from the government because he's been left behind because the aliens can't count how many people they've got.
So is Jeff in? Yep. Is Daniel in? Yep. Is Fred in? Yep. Is E.T. in?
No.
He's probably in. Let's go.
Yeah. So basically it's kind of like, it's more of a heartwarming story than anything. It's about like friendship and
friends.
Looking after each other no matter what, and trying to just get back home. I mean, it's just one of those heartwarming stories. Like, you see them get so close. Like, at the start, they were scared of each other, but then they start to learn about each other, make friends,
and then they literally have that mental connection. Like, going through. This is, I'd say, apart from Jurassic Park, potentially, but I think this still beats it as Steven Spielberg's most iconic film.
Yeah.
And this came about based off a childhood story where he based off like an imaginary friend he used to have after his parents apparently had a divorce.
Yep.
And he made this imaginary friend, and that's how the story came out of it. And this was the highest grossing film as well. This came out in 1982 and lasted till 1993 as the highest grossing film of all time.
That's good, isn't it?
Until he then beat himself with Jurassic
Park, yeah.
Which then lasted another 4 years
until Titanic.
Yeah, which then I don't know how I think that lasted until Avatar.
11 years then till Avatar.
Yeah,
and then
Avatar till Endgame,
which was 2019, 2018.
God, I think 2019. It must be 2019.
Yeah, so it's been another 10 years.
So he held it for a good point of time.
He's done well with that, but it's another thing as well is like that I found out afterwards when I watched it. I mean, I don't know if you've watched it yet. You've not watched Haunting of Hill House yet, have you? No. The younger version of the dad in Haunting of Hill House is the child in E.T.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of nostalgia throwing there.
And they also brought out like a little sequel advert, didn't they? For Christmas. I can't remember, but it was. They did it properly. I remember watching it and thinking like they've done it properly. And they also shot it in rough chronological order because they wanted to do that for the child actors, so that they could get like emotionally invested going through the story, which is different because normally they film it as
stages and stuff,
and the best way that they possibly can.
Yeah.
They did this so they could have a better effect for the kids.
That's good, isn't it? Like proper thinking outside the box with it.
Most iconic scene of it when flying across the moon. And I wouldn't say that's probably the most iconic scene in film history, probably.
Yeah. That part of CGI doesn't live up to standard now, does it? But
well, it's one of those scenes that if someone just put a picture of a bike, a moon,
you'd know what it is. Like, you can gloss over the bad effects at the time, because it always just makes me laugh if I watch it back now, watching them flying on the bikes and the faces of like the actors and stuff. They're like, whoa, like.
But it's still good. It still holds up. You can still watch it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And I think that's the same with a lot of his films. Like he's been doing this for 40 plus years now.
Yeah.
And a lot of it still holds up. You could still watch it. Like Jaws, I think, is the oldest one that we brought up.
Mm-hmm. It is, yeah.
Easily watchable and easily traumatizing kids.
Oh yeah, still.
Yeah. E.T. Anything?
That's about it.
Let's go on to Jurassic Park.
Yep.
Another next biggest one. I'd say. How would you rank like Indiana Jones, E.T., Jurassic Park?
As in, like, which one I prefer out of those?
Like, iconic wise.
Iconic. On like a personal one for me, between Jurassic Park, E.T. and Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
I'd probably say Jurassic Park for me would be at the top, then Indiana Jones, then E.T.
Okay.
Like, E.T. I like, but I don't like it as much as like Jurassic Park. It was always that, the childhood thing of seeing dinosaurs alive.
Yeah.
And actually being with them and stuff. That was brilliant. I loved Jurassic Park as a child. Indiana Jones I got into more as I was older.
Yeah.
Whereas Jurassic Park was definitely like a kid nostalgia thing of watching it and seeing like, oh, dinosaurs.
Well, Jurassic Park's still one of my favourite films, and they did it so well. I've come to respect it even more, having looked into it, how they've done like the animatronics, and this was like Jaws was one of the revolutionary in terms of sound editing. This was one of the key ones in terms of computer imagery and animatronic work to do with obviously creating the dinosaurs, the ones that are animatronics. It just set a new wave in like Hollywood, so to speak. And I think it won something which I've not written down. Great. But I watched a YouTube thing, a channel called Corridor Crew, which is a group of SFX artists, and they do like best and worst CGI in films. And the good one they did was with the T-Rex in the rain, and they were talking about how lighting in CGI is really difficult because they have to obviously create that because it doesn't exist. And they were saying effects to do with light didn't exist, like the way they could manipulate didn't exist back then. So they had to like introduce the rain aspect and do stuff like that to make it seem lifelike. So it's just amazing what they did because they didn't have the tools to do such a good job. Like the T-Rex is probably the biggest example in the rain because it looks like it's there. It's knocking down fences. It's
walking through and being like, oh god, it's right there. But obviously, like, it wasn't all just CGI with that. No. It was obviously the animatronics as well. And that, a bit of trivia from one of the parts of the T-Rex scene was when it's staring into the Land Rover with the kids. When it goes through the roof, they didn't mean for that to happen. That was not meant to happen. The guy that was controlling the actual T-Rex pushed it too far.
That's great.
So when you actually hear those kids screaming, they're proper scream. They are terrified because the guy was literally meant to come in like that, but instead he pushed it so far it went right through. And those kids are literally screaming in terror, and Spielberg was like, "No, we're keeping that." That's great.
Might as well. Like, I know, potentially traumatise the kids for life, but might as well use the scene.
Gonna use this. So
what was the other one? We talked about Lord of the Rings before, where he broke his foot. He just like gonna use that. Like,
that's a bit of emotion there.
Not gonna get any more real life than breaking your foot on camera.
Nope. So yeah, that was an interesting one.
And this is another one like Jaws that it has a lot of moments of comedy or relief between the aspects. Like there's a lot of tension scenes, like the velociraptors in the kitchen area. Going through that dark when they have to put the lights back on.
Yep.
These are all very tense scenes, and they're intervaled with relatively laid back scenes or comedic scenes. Like the hacker, not the hacker, but the guy who does the security of it.
Yeah.
The guy like no, magic word. That's not the point. It had a lot of memes.
Yeah, it definitely did.
And clever girl. But he's like a comic actor, isn't he? And he brings like the intervals in it, and then at the end, gets attacked by the frill lizard.
Well, another meme, like you were saying before, Jeff Goldblum.
Oh, yes.
With the open top. Didn't need that, mate, but we've got it. So
I do a little bit of TikTok, but it's like a funny one that people have done with it is when they're standing up and they're seeing the dinosaurs for the first time, and they like take off the glasses and he stands out, and they always cut out to like a different video when they see the dinosaurs. It's like I can't think of an example, but they stand up and it cuts to a different video, and some of them are great. But so much meme worthy.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I'd say still holds up to today.
Like definitely, easily.
Not talking about like the dinosaurs and practical effects, but like that first initial scene and the acting definitely holds up more than so.
I mean, this one as well. It's like obviously there was a few deaths, but you didn't really need the deaths.
No,
as much. Like they didn't need them as much.
Yeah. Because
it was more like the thriller. Of it all. Whereas like when it got to the second one, it was more about kill them all.
I think that kitchen scene with the velociraptors is one of the best scenes of the film. Just tension, especially when the raptor whacks into the reflection. That's solid. Yeah,
well that's it. And again, it's with that. It's like CGI and animatronics as well.
Yeah,
because apart when the velociraptor actually opens the kitchen door, you can see a hand.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
You can see a hand pushing the velociraptor.
Oh, that's a lot in like old films, isn't it?
Yeah,
that you can find that sort of stuff. In fairness, you can't say that. I can't say that really, because like Game of Thrones, they had that Starbucks cup, didn't they? And there was another famous one recently. I can't remember it. I think it was in a DC one. And then final scene of it, like the Velociraptor v T-Rex.
Yeah.
That's like every child, like in your childhood, you're thinking, God, who would win?
I think we know now.
Why do you think Jurassic World didn't recapture the same sort of feel of it?
It wasn't more. I think it's because we've seen it and done it. It was trying to replace it, maybe. Or just trying to cash in.
Yeah. Well, it's definitely cashing in.
It's definitely cashing in on what Jurassic Park was. It didn't have the feel of what the first one did. Like, you don't have Richard Attenborough taking you through it.
Yeah.
It's this woman that, like, forgettable characters as well, isn't it? But I mean, like, Jurassic World is good.
Yeah.
And everything.
It's a fun movie to watch.
It's a fun movie, and it brings in parts of nostalgia. Obviously, like the old building that it was all made in.
Yeah.
The T-Rex from the first one is in this one. I mean, because you can see the scars from the battle. And
it's that end bit where it's the T-Rex v the Indominus Rex, was it? Was it the first one where they made it basically like a sci-fi dinosaur?
Yeah.
Like it had camouflage and it could do telepathy, basically.
Yeah, it could camouflage. It could think and have a proper bad.
I forgot how bad that was.
Exactly, like, especially calling it an Indominus Rex. Who made that name up?
I forgot how much I hated it.
Yeah, it's bad, isn't it?
Oh my god.
That's other parts of making it bad. But I mean, I think from Jurassic World, one of the parts that I liked as well was the death of that British woman in it.
Which one was that?
Oh, the proper gruesome death that she got and shouldn't have deserved. So she gets picked up by one of the flying pterodactyls, dropped into the lake, they start like the pterodactyls starting to like gnaw on her, and then that bloody massive water dinosaur comes up and snaps her up, and so it's like, yep, you're definitely dead.
Oh yeah. And then the water thing eats the Edominus, doesn't it, as well? That sort of came out of nowhere. Mm-hmm. Although they made it that OP, so to speak, that there was not much else they could really do about it.
There's nothing else you could do.
Because the end was like the Rex versus T-Rex and that Velociraptor, wasn't it? That was just them trying to like one up.
Yeah.
Jurassic Park.
But then it's also them trying to like show Velociraptors as very intelligent and empathetic when they're really not. They're really not.
And in reality, they were like, I don't want to say chickens, but they've got feathers. They were very small, weren't they?
They were smaller than it says, and they had feathers as well. But they were still bad.
Yeah,
could still kill you.
They're also making are they making a sequel to? Are they making a sequel to Jurassic World? Or are they making a sequel to the original series?
No, they're making the next one's for Jurassic World.
Is it?
Because the last one that they had was when all the dinosaurs got released.
Oh yeah.
And that's carried on from the next one.
Right, there you go. Oh, but I think some of the original cast is coming back.
Yes.
I think that's another one.
Well, Jeff Goldblum's already back. He was back in the last one. And then a few of the others, like from the originals again.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm thinking of. Lost World, there's not much you can really speak about it. I enjoyed it, not as much as the first one.
No.
But it was still a fun one to watch.
Like I said, a bit more cannon fodder for people. A lot more deaths.
Penultimate one, Saving Private Ryan. I imagine you enjoyed this.
I love Saving Private Ryan. It's one of my favourite war films.
You want to start off then?
Yeah, so this is definitely like one of the best war films ever.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like one of Tom Hanks' standout performance. I mean, he's not done many war films.
Yeah.
And this is his best. I mean, he's got one coming up soon. But...
I mean, we brought up in the 1917 podcast that we did, saying that before 1917, this was probably...
It was Saving Private Ryan. I mean, it's so realistic and brings everything in. Proper puts you in World War II, especially like the starting scene of just D-Day.
Yeah.
The D-Day scene on Utah Beach. And that scene was that realistic and everything. When veterans of D-Day watched it, it gave them flashbacks, and a lot of them got PTSD again.
Yeah.
Or like it set them off again because they remember everything from it.
So spot on, well, so realistic.
It was very realistic, and they thought about it and was like, yeah, this is exactly how it was.
Yeah.
And it showed the scale of the war as well. In like, it's trying to be empathetic by like getting this Private Ryan back because his three brothers have died, and you're just following these soldiers in the big war.
Explain to me a bit more, because it might just be forgetting. I don't know how to say this properly, but why was he important enough to send like 7 or 8 guys after him?
It was kind of public relations mission. So obviously, before these brothers all died, there was another set of brothers that died in the same unit because they were in the same unit, and then these 4 brothers were in the same unit. So then they got split up, and within 1 week, 3 of the 4 brothers died. 1 in the Pacific, 2 on the beaches of Normandy. So, Saving Private Ryan was the last one. So then the top brass were saying like, well, we can't can't have all of them dying. For like his mum will be pretty fuming.
Oh God, for God's sake.
Yeah. No, it's just lost 3.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it just confused me for a sec. Because I was just wondering, like 7 for 1 guy.
Yeah. So they just go like, so get a small band of soldiers, go and get him, bring him home.
But yeah, the performances are amazing. Like Matt Damon, Tom Hanks, and not to say that any of the others, but those are like
the top ones.
I know they're the main characters, so you do automatically think, but set aside that, their performances by themselves are just amazing. The only other war film that's I really enjoyed was like Enemy at the Gates, which is the sniping one. That 1917 and this one. I think there's one more, but I've not seen it, and is it Tarantino? No. Who's the one? Is it Harry Styles is in it?
Oh, Dunkirk.
Yeah, that's the other one that I've heard is like
that's good,
proper up there, but I've not seen yet.
Yeah, Dunkirk's really, really good. I can't believe you've not seen it. Bloody hell. Dunkirk is a brilliant, brilliant film. It's one of those where it's tense,
right,
as well. When it comes to Dunkirk, it's more obviously you know about the story of Dunkirk, so it's not trying to tell you a story of it. It's trying to show it as what it was, and the tension behind it all. There's not that much speaking. Yeah. There's a bit, but there's not much. And it's like 3 different stories of Dunkirk in one, and how they link, show it. And these are like the best war movies. I mean, Saving Private Ryan's been up there since it came out.
Oh yeah, it's been at the top since it came out.
Yeah, and like again, it's watchability. You can always watch it and think like you'll never get bored, and it's just still.
I would actually put, in that regard, Saving Private Ryan over 1917
for replayability.
Yeah. Like 1970 is a spectacle of cinematography and filming and realism, but it's not something I could watch over and over and over again.
No. I've watched it twice, and I've watched it twice, 3 times now.
Oh right, and it's your 3rd time.
I think because we went to see it.
No,
we didn't. It's twice. It's twice I've seen it then.
You went to see it with your dad?
I went to see it with my dad, and then I watched it at home.
Okay. Anyway, to go back back to the main Private Ryan guy.
The guy.
This is exactly the same as, spoilers, the 1917 situation with the prisoner.
Yeah.
The German prisoner.
What do you do?
Who they save, or attempt to save in one case, ends up biting them.
Yeah.
It sort of does it again because in Private Ryan, Miller, who is Hanks, isn't it? He saved, or at least releases, a German prisoner.
Miller's not Hank. Tom Hanks is.
What's his name?
Miller's one of the normal ones. One of the other soldiers.
Is it?
Oh no, it is Miller. Yeah, there isn't,
right.
But there isn't. Oh, it was Mellish. I'm thinking of was one of the others. Yeah, it is Captain Miller.
But he frees, or at least lets go, a
German prisoner. Yeah.
Who then, right near the end of film, kills him or
shoots him. Yeah.
And
Upham that befriended the German because he can speak German and was like, yeah, I've just seen that. Sorry, mate, but you're not living now.
Yeah, he's like, because then he lets other German prisoners go, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Just like, have you not learned your lessons?
Just shoot them all.
It's the same thing we had with the 1917 where I can't remember the guy's name, but he tries to save the German pilot who then responds by stabbing him.
Mm-hmm.
It's again that moral thing. Like,
yeah. Do you save them or do you just kill them? But the thing is, though, like when it comes to it, it's Geneva Convention, really. Because in a realistic term, like you can't kill prisoners.
Yeah.
If with World War One, that wasn't really the case because they didn't have the Geneva Convention at the time. World War Two, they definitely did.
Yeah.
So you can't just shoot an unarmed person that's surrendered.
Yeah.
So you'd be a war criminal then. I mean, obviously it happened.
Oh,
it happened
I
a lot.
It happened a lot.
Because technically, Upham did it. He's just committed a war crime.
Yeah. I'm sure they'll let him off.
Oh yeah, I don't think they'll know.
But yeah, it's that because you get annoyed by it, don't you? Because and again, anyone with at least a base level of morals will go, "That's a bit unfair."
Yeah,
he saved you, and you just gone and shot him.
Yeah, he let you live, because all the rest were about to kill you.
It's that thing of hopefully we never have an instance of war.
No,
not at least to the same degree. Because I don't know. I think the thing with war nowadays is, I don't want to say this insensitively, so I don't. But a world war couldn't really happen nowadays because anything to that extent it would just be nuclear war. It would just be there's wars obviously in the Middle East, and there's like stuff like that. But anything huge can't happen because of the nuclear deterrence.
No, but it still could, and it could definitely still happen, and you just wouldn't use the nukes because the nukes are there, like you said, as a deterrent. Like if you use yours, we'll use ours, and it will just wipe out everything. But if you don't use them, and you just fight conventionally, then it's fine. Like literally, they're never going to get used.
Or at least if it's going to be some mad guy.
If they're going to, well, yeah, it'll be some mad person.
Donald's last day.
It's it won't happen, but there is still the possibility of World War. It's just that they wouldn't get used. I mean, obviously, the only time they were ever used was at the end of World War Two, and
those compared to what we've got now
are bad.
Yeah,
I mean they are
20 times more powerful, aren't they, per missile? It's a bit mental.
So, yeah, there could be wars in the future. Probably will be.
Where was I going with this? It wasn't even that I was trying to go to. I don't know. I had a train of thought and just went side point. Anyway, and to finish off, Minority Report, which is the Tom Cruise pre-crime film where they basically predestine that someone's going to kill someone and arrest them before it happens, and so leading to a 0% murder rate in their city or country or
wherever it is.
So this one's interesting just for the ethics of it.
Yeah.
Go on. Is it right?
It's a hard one, isn't it? I mean, like, I'd say it's not right because you haven't done it. It's a strange one, isn't it? You could do him for attempted murder if you're catching him in the act, but if
you know it's gonna happen.
If you know, it might happen because someone's one of these telekinetic, psychic people that are in the pool, pretty much, like can see that it's going to happen. But yeah, it's a strange one, isn't it? Like, because obviously you see the first part of the film is them catching a guy that's about to kill his wife, and
see, it's a good thing. It's decent.
But they've stopped him before he did it, so he's not actually done it.
Yeah, but in that world they can be charged for whatever, pre-murder or whatever.
Predestined.
And the big error in the system as the film finishes sort of where it is. That it can be changed if someone's aware of their future. Yeah. So if someone knows that they're going to kill someone, then they're probably not going to kill that person because they're going to get arrested. But just the idea of charging people or trying to get rid of threats before they occur is a very common theme, I think, in everyone's lives to smaller or greater extents. Obviously, military or police terms, it's trying to prevent crimes. Like people's social lives, it's trying to avoid difficult situations by trying to predict what's going to happen. It's a very common theme. In this case, it's obviously more to do with arresting and obviously trying to prevent...
Just getting them out of the way.
I think everyone has the experience of trying to control or predict how things are going to go and trying to work away or even creating scenarios of things are going to go and reacting to those scenarios even if they've not occurred.
Exactly, yeah. It's an interesting one, isn't it? Do you think it's right?
I think it's another one because I think everyone thinks it's right until it's on you.
Yeah. You haven't... that guy was screaming at the start, I haven't done anything. I mean, mate, you did get caught with a knife in your hand, but...
I think that's it's a good way to word it, really. I think the theory is right before it applies to you. Yeah. And then you go, hang on a sec. It's me now. Yeah. So I don't like it. Because the theory of being able to save lives before and you don't... Because the thing with modern law, like the modern day, is it's very broken. If you my opinion is very broken that people who intentionally murder is the murder is premeditated, manslaughter is accidental, quotation marks.
Yeah.
But the idea that people can end the life of someone and be judged for a number of years that they say is worthy punishment for taking away that person's life, I think is very broken.
Yeah.
And think it's very... it's all about ideas. Like I was reading a book called Sapiens, and it's the idea of these invisible things that we have in our lives that control what we do, such as laws.
Yeah.
Like, laws don't exist. No. They're just ideas that we follow because it makes us be a society.
Yeah.
Without these invisible things called laws, everyone would go mad.
Yeah.
We know to queue, it's not a law, it's not a rule anywhere, it's just this idea that we follow because otherwise everyone will be going
trying
mental.
to get in,
And it's that sort of idea with laws. It's like we've built this system to try and control how we dictate and punish someone.
Yeah.
But it seems very flawed because it can't take into the account of the person who's died.
Yeah.
Like, their life is over, they're cremated in the ground, but this person's supposed to be judged based on invisible stuff going on. I'm a bit mumbling a bit, but I find it a very odd concept that it's not a strict end of life for them as well. Whether that be like, I'm sure there's countries in... I think there's a few countries in like the Middle East or something like that, but they have some different laws and such like. But that murder I know some people are against what's the fancy term for hanging? There's a fancy term for something punishment.
Yeah, capital
punishment. Obviously, people are for and against it, especially like in America where they still do the injection stuff.
Yep.
Which definitely has flaws in itself.
Oh yeah, like it's being humane or not.
Yeah, and the fact of if you get it wrong, it's not a reversible action.
No.
I don't know. I'm mumbling a bit, but what's your opinion on the fact of people taking lives and then other people then judging or potentially reducing or only getting a set number of years?
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I've always thought maybe capital punishment should be a thing still, because you have taken someone's life, so you really deserve to have yours ended. Because they have nothing now. That is it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's different. It's difficult. It depends on the situation as well. Like, because you can't call, like, say, a crime of passion. Like, you've killed your lover because you found them in bed with someone else. That's not murder. That's not classed as murder because it's not premeditated. It's you found them there. You've got angry, and you've killed them for it. It depends on the situation. If you've gone out and watched people for weeks and gone, I'm going to kill them.
Yeah, those sort of ones definitely. They're the ones that need a sort of not a strict black and white. Yeah. Kill, you die. Kill, you die.
But you've got to have something there to stop people from doing it. Yeah. Obviously. But in a way, would capital punishment be the better one, or would locking them away for a long, long time? I mean, life here in the UK isn't life. No. But
which I find very strange.
I find that strange. But if you get a life sentence, like if you've ever watched Shawshank Redemption, he gets 2 life sentences because he killed 2 people. So it's like, he says you'll be in prison for 200 years, 100 years per person, or 2 life sentences, whichever comes first. Yeah. Whichever comes last, or whatever it is. So that's basically, you're not getting out, mate. Yeah. You're not getting out at all. So it's like that. Is that the worst punishment? Because you've got to now spend your life thinking about it and what you've done and how you could have changed it, but now you can't.
I watched. Have you watched much Narcos?
Watch what?
Narcos.
No, I haven't.
There's a sequel series sort of called Narcos Mexico, and it's about the Mexican cartels ish. Yeah. And I read up on one of the guys who ran it, and he was arrested and spent about 27 years. He's still in jail now. Yep. I don't know if he's in the same place. in like one of those so-so by so-so spaces, rooms, so many feet by so many feet, stone wall rooms. Isn't allowed out for anything. 24 hours in there for 20 years or so. Now that's like an idea of hell. And it's the idea of, but then he's appealing. I think he's been rejected each time, but like because of failing health, to be allowed for homestay or go to a less secure prison and such like. And I find that completely strange. But I wanted to focus more on that aspect, like because that sounds like an idea of hell, really, doesn't it? There's nothing to do. Might have a book, but staying in a single room, probably not going to be that big. You can probably like stretch your arms out both width and length, and you're going to be able to touch each side. And that's hell.
That's bad. But does that make you as bad as them? Doing that to them?
Oh no.
No, they need to be punished.
But is that worse than just capital punishment? This is a very deep argument, and it's been going on for a long time. We're just bringing this up because of Minority Report. But it's because I know there's obviously arguments about resource usage to do with that, like the comparisons, and the biggest argument against it is the non-reversibility of it. Like, if you get it wrong, I think there was a famous case a few weeks ago. Some guy was an accomplice or potential accomplice, and they've still gone ahead with it, even though the main guy, I'm mumbling there, but one of these cases where they're not entirely sure and people got miffed about it.
But if you know for certain that they've done it, I mean, it's fair game then, isn't it? Because there was a case a few days ago in Japan who still have capital punishment, where he's a 30-year-old Japanese man, and he's killed 19 patients of a mental care home and a disability care home that he worked at, because he said that I don't believe that people with mental health and disabilities should have the right to life. So he's stabbed 19 of them to death. And he's been sentenced to death by hanging. That's given, really. You've killed 19 people, so your life is now forfeit because you've done that. And I guess as well, when it comes to it, their way of doing it is quite good in Japan, because they don't tell them that they're getting executed until the day. So it's not as traumatizing, really. I mean, like, the day will be
the day's going to be like
the day is going to be traumatizing when they get told, like, right, you're going getting executed now. But compare it to like places like in America where they're waiting for 14 plus years to be executed, and they know the date that they're meant to be at.
I don't know, actually. I don't know. I mean, I guess if you've got time to accept it.
But you can feel the day coming. Whereas you won't in Japan. You'll just, one day they'll come in and be like, right, come on, you're getting executed. It's an interesting...
How do they do that, though? Because they must get some sort of, like,
there'll be
conviction.
Well, it'll be... I think the way it works is, like, they can appeal their everything, but once the final appeal's gone through and it's been rejected, then it's like, right, well, we're going to have to kill you now, then. It's not going to get stopped.
I have to have a gamble into that. So, Minority Report, after that...
after that massive detour.
Tom Cruise, I think it's a really great actor. Like, I think he does action things and does it well, and I don't know if he, like, gets put on a lower pedestal because he just does that.
No.
But I think he's a really great actor and does what he does well.
Yeah, well, he does what he does. I mean, like, most of his films are action films. I mean, he's got his few that aren't.
But not that I can remember any.
A Few Good Men. That's not an action film.
Oh yeah, nice one.
So it's things like that. But he is a great actor. I mean, he's a weirdo. But
whatever he does in his own time.
But as an actor, he is really good and has been around for years and years. So,
and
he was a good fit for it.
As I mentioned earlier, Maximum Sydow as the villain. Also, great performance as well. But yeah, I think that's everything from... well, not everything from Mr. Spielberg, but everything that
we
about.
like, yeah.
Well, thank you very much for watching.
Yep.
Watching with your ears.
You're watching this, are you?
Yes, lovely. Listening. If you want to leave a review, that would be great, as it helps a lot. And on social at Twitter, _ What's On Podcast, and YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram at the What's On Podcast. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you.